The Music Behind the Wizard, narrated by Jim Willis, featuring the music of Ajit Padmanabh. Production design by Jan Willis, a product of JW2 Publications. When Jan and I began the project that culminated in The Wizard in the Wood audiobook, we knew we needed to find a unique source of music that would bring the story to life. Thank goodness we had already discovered Ajit Padmanabh. Ajit is a long-distance friend and colleague from India, a musician, composer, and producer with a vision that far surpasses the ordinary and mundane. He is the founder and CEO of a tech startup on digital heritage and history called Who VR. A self-taught musician, his album, Think Void, is a treasure trove of sounds and textures that transport the listener to private worlds and subtle dimensions. Having already discovered this source, I wrote to him and asked if we might use some of his tracks to help develop the story of Michael the Wizard and Artie, his protege. Ajit quickly and enthusiastically responded, and his music now permeates our project. In this video, I'd like to share a few snippets of some of Ajit's music and describe how they form the basis for this unique audio experience. On the Edge of the Unending is a magical piece. In the book, whenever magic is afoot, it is heralded in one of two ways. Sometimes we hear just the shrill cry of a hawk, but usually this music is featured in the background. Sometimes we hear the original driving, mesmerizing, and rhythmic beat. But when the chorus enters, we know that something special is about to happen. What can I say? It's magic. This next piece is one of my favorites. Please Don't Go is a hauntingly beautiful theme that appears throughout the book in two formats. The first is found over this simple but elegant piano accompaniment. The second excerpt is similar, but now the orchestral accompaniment gives the familiar melody extra body. In the book, this music is used whenever a parting of the ways or nostalgic memory is featured in the plot. This next excerpt is from Ajit's Memories in Raindrops. When I first heard this piece, I was mesmerized by the way the sound of raindrops morphed into the provocative, bold bass rhythm that preceded the surprisingly energetic theme. I usually associate raindrops with a soothing, comforting mood conducive to sleep, but I never realized before how much rain energized me rather than tranquilized me. This was the first time I had ever discovered this within myself. It's no wonder I use this music throughout the whole book. When it came time to describe the kind of music Michael the Wizard played on his guitar, I was at a loss. When I wrote the story, I had something in my mind, but couldn't quite describe it, let alone play it myself. I sent a copy of this portion of the manuscript to Ajit and asked if he could just become Michael and wing it. A day later, I received this attached to an email. Ajit, not having anything at hand that quite fit the bill, had simply walked into his studio, picked up his guitar, and channeled Michael. It was perfect. The result was this never-before-heard piece he called Wake Up, Sun. But to me, it will always be called Michael's theme. This final piece takes a bit of explanation. In Chapter 15, Artie is pinned down in a Vietnam firefight. This part of the story obviously needed much more than music. Ajit's Won the World Over offered precisely the kind of driving, forceful music we needed to supply the background. But how do you duplicate the rest of the sounds of war? As it turned out, the time of the year we recorded this section of the book was early July. Jan simply took her recorder out on her deck and taped the sound of the local fireworks celebrating Independence Day. She was also ready the next day, relaxing on her patio, when a pair of jet airplanes flew over at close range. The sound of nighttime insects is easy to capture out in the South Carolina woods during the month of July, to say nothing of monsoon-like rainstorms. And when you put it all together, it sounds like this. These are just a few samples of Ajit's work. For a more comprehensive experience, I strongly recommend that you follow up by going to Ajit's website, www.worldvoidweb.com. That's www.worldvoidweb.com. There you can also check out news about his second album entitled Voider Perspectives, which will be released in January 2022. You are in for a musical journey you'll never forget. Meanwhile, Jan, Ajit, and I hope you enjoy The Wizard in the Wood audiobook. To quote Artie, who tells the story, if you're lucky, it just might change your life.